Hey, this is Ian Westerman. I'm the head pro at EssentialTennis.com, where it's our mission to provide passionate instruction to passionate tennis players just like you. Welcome to this episode of Ask Ian, where we're going to be talking about which skills to use on the scale that I've talked about a couple different episodes of Ask Ian. The question I'm going to be answering was in response to a different topic where I was talking about, does a good player necessarily make a good coach? And the question here from Jim is, when playing a match, should you throw out the conscious competence and go with your level of unconscious competence? So really quickly, in case you're not familiar with what Jim is talking about, this is really important. There's 4 phases of learning any skill. Starts off with unconscious incompetence. It means you've got no knowledge, no ability to execute. Then you have conscious incompetence. You have some knowledge, but you don't have the ability to execute yet. Maybe you're just starting to try it or practice it. Then conscious competence. You have the knowledge and you can also do it now, but you have to still be aware. You have to still be focusing on what you're doing to do it correctly. And then finally, unconscious competence. So it's now a trained habit. You no longer have to think about it, and you can do it correctly without even being aware of it. So Jim is asking, when I play a match, should I be using what I'm consciously able to complete? So let's say he's working on a forehand change and he's able to do it correctly now. He's received the instruction, he got the information, he's able to do it correctly when thinking, but when he stops concentrating on it, he goes back to a previous habit. So he's saying, should I use that new improved skill that I'm still having to focus on, or should I get rid of that and just use what I know is unconscious? So Jim, the answer is you should go almost exclusively with what is currently unconsciously competent. There's the old phrase, can't walk and chew gum at the same time, which is like the saying, I'm really uncoordinated and I don't know how to use my body effectively. Usually when somebody is kind of a klutz, it's a phrase that people use to describe how uncoordinated they are. So here's the thing. I did a podcast episode about this a while back. If you had never walked before or chewed gum before, you couldn't do those two things at the same time. The only reason why you can walk and chew gum at the same time, I'm assuming you can. If you can't, I'm sorry. The only reason why you can do those two things is you've done both of them a million times, and they're both unconscious skills. When you're trying to do something that's not unconscious yet, you can only focus on one thing at a time. You can only consciously focus on one thing at a time. So that means, in the case of, let's say, Jim's forehand, if Jim's been working on his forehand and he knows what he's supposed to do, but he still has to focus on it, if he tries to do the new thing throughout the course of an entire match, that's the only thing he's able to be aware of or concentrate on or focus on every time he hits a forehand. And that takes his focus away from his opponent. It also takes his focus away from his intention for the shot, meaning what resulting type of shot, what his target was, exactly what he was trying to accomplish with the ball. So all of Jim's focus then becomes totally on his own side of the court, trying his best to execute that forehand. Meanwhile, he's missing all the cues that his opponent is giving him as far as where he should be aiming, what his opponent's weaknesses are, what his opponent's strengths are. Jim might notice those things after the fact, or maybe during a changeover, but he's missing out on his ability to be aware of those things, pick shot selections that reflect what he's learned, and that is what's going to make you be the most successful possible during a match. If you hit a better forehand, can it make you more successful? Yeah, that can help, but if you don't have the ability to choose and have purpose behind your shots, then it significantly decreases your ability to win. And in my experience, most tennis players are very, very focused inwardly on their own half of the court, and they're very unaware of what's happening on the other side of the court. And that's the main reason why players can't figure out how to win. There's all kinds of players that can win even though they have terrible technique, And that's because they don't care about their technique. They're really good practitioners at figuring out the match, figuring out their opponents, and then coming up with a game plan that's effective. We all know how frustrating those players are to beat. Imagine if you could have both the technique and the ability to troubleshoot the match and come up with a winning formula. That's only possible if you separate your focus, and on the practice court, you focus on game improvement, technique improvement, and on the match court, you forget about that, literally forget about it. Just use what you know is a habit, what you know is ingrained and trained, and then completely focus on the other side of the court so that you can troubleshoot the match and come up with a winning game plan. Hopefully that makes sense, Jim. If you're looking for some help on the mental side of the game and you'd like to be able to play with confidence and play just as well in matches as you do in your practice sessions, check out the link down below, or you can go to mentaltennismastery.com. There's a 3-part video series that you can get completely free, and it's an interview series that I did with a peak performance and mental toughness expert. So highly recommend you go check that out. If you enjoyed this video and what I said was helpful, do me a favor and give us a like. If you have any comments or questions or anything doesn't make sense, leave those in the section down below. And be sure to follow us wherever you happen to be watching this and wherever else that you like to hang out online. We're probably there as well. And you can make sure that you don't miss out on anything else that we publish in the near future. Until then, thanks for watching, take care, and good luck with your tennis. For hundreds of free digital tennis lessons, head over to essentialtennis.com right now. More wins and more fun on the court is right around the corner. You'll even get a free gift just for stopping by. Simply click the link at the top of any page.